Man of the Year? Really? Chester the Molester? I think not. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 1, episode 7 of Greenleaf. We start off, there's this whole situation where basically Uncle Mack has been nominated Man of the Year. Ain't that a trip? Man of the Year. Anyway, but we start the whole episode off with a dream sequence of him laying in the bed. He gets up, and in the bed, there's this real pretty little young, light-skinned girl. And he goes down, and then he's sitting at the table, and then she ends up coming down and everything, and she kind of looks real perplexed, and then she's kind of grinning. And I'm like, okay, and then you see him wake up, and he's actually there alone. Here it is. He's just having a little wet dream is what he was doing. And then we see later on that when he's getting ready to leave the apartment building that he lives in, this girl that he was dreaming about is a kid that lived, she's about 16 or so, she's 15 or 16, live in the building that he lives in. He is a fucking perv, okay? So we get to see a lot about Uncle Mack on this little episode. So it is etched in stone. He is a pervert. He is Chester, the motherfucking molester. Period. Okay, so next we actually see Uncle Mack talking to Charity. And they're speaking actually about Carlton. And of course, he's not on board with Carlton being hired. He doesn't care about the fact that Carlton's gay. He cares about the fact that Carlton sued the last 2 jobs when they violated him because of his sexuality. So he don't want to hire him. It all basically breaks down and breaks all the way around to where he says, fine, Charity, I'll hire him, but we'll hire him for a year with no benefits and all of that with the 1099. So he's going to come in like a contractor, independent contractor. So that basically wasn't going to go along with, he won't have any insurance or anything. So Charity was like not with it, and it just is what it is. I don't really know how that's actually going to all work out because there was some turmoil that actually ended up going over, and Mack was like, I don't care what you do, just do what you want to do. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. So we'll get to that in episodes to come, I guess. But so that was what was going on with that. Later on, we actually see Mack having a conversation with their father. Him, May, and Mavis's father. He is a drunken pugilist. He's a gambler. He just ain't shit. He ain't shit. And he's basically extorting money from Mack. Mack gives him money to get him to go away. May doesn't even want him in the building. He's not even allowed in the church at all. He's not allowed on the grounds. He ended up getting in by, there was a new desk person. That's how he actually even got in. And later on, we actually, because he gave him money, and he's talking about going and gambling and all this. You just see he's not shit. May and Mack and Bishop actually had a conversation, and May's like, yeah, I heard that Daddy was here, and I don't want that man on this property, this, that, thing, and the other. She laid it down. Like I said before, May is the center of all this shit. I believe the money belongs to First Lady. Whatever the money is, whatever funded all this shit or got this shit all started, May is the bitch in charge. Bishop does what May says, you know, other than him doing his own little shit. So I just kind of seen some of that. It was kind of strange. But anyway, next we see Noah actually ends up having a conversation with Mack. And he basically asks Noah, "Are we all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're fine." You know, because he knows that Noah's been consorting with Gigi. And he's saying, just seemed like things were a little bit off. And Noah's like, "No, not at all." Right before Matt came into the room, Noah was on the phone with that fiance of his, and that shows something that I didn't like about this stinking bitch as well. She wanted this cake, and the cake for the wedding is like $800. Noah's like, "That is not in our budget. It's too much." That bitch had the nerve to say, "Well, they're paying for everything else." So right away, I don't like shit like that. I don't like shit like that. I don't like no using ass motherfucker in or out of the church. I don't like people like that. And it's true that she don't even know that May is being shady by even letting her have her wedding there. But to try to use her like that, I didn't like that. That rubbed me completely wrong. But later on in the program, good old Mac ended up contacting her and telling her to get the cake and charge it to him, trying to make good. Mac is very sideways, and he preys on the weak and the stupid. And as we see, Noah's bride-to-be is weak and she's stupid. We've seen that all along. The fact that she's so bothered by Gigi and Gigi's existence. You're weak, bitch, and you're stupid. I don't like her. Anyway, so moving on. Next, Mac talked to Jacob. Jacob actually has a business plan. Remember, he was working on a business plan about getting his dad on TV again and all that. And they went back and forth. He told me it was a good plan. He said, "You wrote this up yourself?" Because they just don't think that Jacob could do shit. He said, "Me and Carissa together. Oh, so y'all back on this, that, and the other?" He's like, "Yeah, we're fine. We're giving it a go." So they go back and forth, and he tells him, "This is good." And he sends her back over to him. He said, "I know your dad's not going back on TV. He ain't going back on. He said he don't want to go back on. That's that. You're never going to be reinstated. It is what it is. You need to get on with your life and figure out what it is you can do and go on and do it." And he's like, "Well, why would you think that my dad would never go back on what it is that he said, that he would never forgive me for the things that I've done? You're still here." Baby Mac didn't like that shit, honey. Mac got an attitude. And I said, okay. Well, all right. Later on in the program, Jacob did end up contacting Mac and apologizing to him. Because you could feel the tension in the air got so thick. But we'll talk about that again later. So just hold that, okay? All right, so let's talk about the whole time that this stuff is all going on throughout this episode. There was the lawyers and everybody who are actually taking care of the audit. They're all there. The people from the IRS, basically, they're all there, and they're going through different things. And there's been amendments made that Mac was not on top of when it comes to love offerings. There's like all this money that they have listed under love offers, shady shit that they can't explain, and it's just been thrown usually under love offer. Well, there's been an amendment, and Mac wasn't up on it, so they said, "Well, we need personal bank statements for the past 3 years." So that just fucked everything up. So it's a mess. Right after that, Mac and Bishop had a big argument. But before that, hold that. Before they had the argument about that whole amendment situation, Gigi and Mack have a run-in because Mack was in the room where the people that were doing the audit, they had left some stuff out. Gigi's card was there. He's thinking of Gigi that went in there and said something to these people. Gigi ain't even said nothing to them people. And he done went in there jumping on her, telling her, you stay the hell out of my business, and you don't know what I know, and you don't know what you don't know. I said, huh? You don't know what you don't know. Whatever, Mac. He's all in her face and stuff. And Kevin that came in was like, everything all right in there? He's like, everything's fine. And Gigi was like, no, that's contrary to popular belief. I know everything. And he told her, you better stay out of my way, And then he left out, and that's when I seen Mac actually has anger issues as well. He was in there. If he could have laid hands on Gigi, he would have. And you could see it. He was in there trying to pipe down and carry on because he had to go do this interview. And he could switch right up. He's real crazy. Like he ain't wrapped too tight at all. And I saw that. Chester the molester is a little off. So we'll be watching him. And Gigi needs to watch because what I'm actually seeing as well through this episode, he got his eye on Sophia on the slide. He keep looking at Sophia and it's making me nervous. And what it seems that he likes is young, small frame, and high yellow, which is Sophia, which was Faith, which is Gigi. I'm like, the little girl in the building is very, she could be Gigi's daughter. Very pretty young lady. He ain't right. But anyway, Mac, after he does his interview and all that, and then him and Bishop go have this conversation. Bishop is telling him, what in the hell is you doing? You ain't doing your job. They're asking for 3 years worth of our personal bank information. That is not good. That is not going to be good for anybody. If they're going through all my personal stuff, that's not going to be good for any of us. And he told him, I'm giving you 1 day to fix it. You get it fixed. He said, if you would, he said, if you would be doing your job, spend half as much time as you spend running around trying to save people, if you did your job, everything would be fine. But he told him, so he gave him like a day to get things together. I'm like, okay. He had a whole bunch of talk for him. I said, okay. See, I'm thinking that Bishop knows a little more about Mac than he's saying too. And that little conversation for me, y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comments, but that conversation for me said to me, motherfucker, if we go down, bitch, you go down. So that's kind of what I got from that. Tell me what y'all think. Anyway, next, right after that all went on. They're coming out of there. Baby, the dad shows back up. And there's a whole thing. So Noah's like, you're not allowed in here, this, that, thing, and the other. He gonna come out, and Mac's like, you ain't put your hands on my dad, did you? He's like, no, I ain't put my hands on him. This, that, thing, and the other. And he's like, come on, Daddy. He's like, just come on, please leave before May sees you. He's like, oh, my daughter, my fabulous daughter. He's like, just, come on, Daddy. Let's just, let's go. He gonna say, my daughter is a high yellow whore. Hell, she ain't even mine. I said, oh! And then May walks out into the hallway, and I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking about Mavis's looks. I'm looking at Mac, and fuck, she don't. Ain't none of them. They're all dark skinned, and you got this fair skin woman. I said, oh, shit. So May don't belong to the father, he's saying. And he called her a fucking high yellow whore. I said, oh, okay. And she went out there and she told him, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You get out of this building. You leave out of this church. You know you're not even allowed in here. And he was like, whatever. Gave her the blues. Then she's like, Daddy, please just leave. Child, she's trying to work with him. He's still up there being all smart, looking all drunk and shit. She said, call the police. I said, yes, May, bitch. So I can't wait to get to the bottom of what their fucking family dynamic really was. There's some shit going down behind this shit, and I can't wait to get to the bottom of it. But anyway, So Mack, he's like, come on, boy, you know what's up. Give me the money. Give me the money. And she told Mack, don't you give him no money. He literally is like extort. It was terrible. He ended up giving him the money, and May stormed off. She was pissed off. It was a big mess. And it all happened right out there in the goddamn hallway. I was like, oh, this is a mess. So that was a mess. That all went on. They end up going, Matt goes home, and here there's the little girl from the building. She downstairs. Well, he all in his feelings, so he then ended up, he goes in his full on Chester the molester, lures the little girl up to his apartment, and he's steadily manipulating this little girl and all of this. And I'm looking and I'm saying, oh God, I was like so bothered by this. I was so bothered because we're watching the whole process of him getting ready to molest her. That's all. I mean, ain't no other way that I could actually put it. And then in the meantime, like I said, I was going to go back to it. Jacob actually called. And Jacob was apologizing to him. And I'm thinking at this time, I said, well, maybe that'll snap him back to reality and he'll get the little girl out of there and it won't go down. Man, he got off that phone and was steadily wooing that little girl, manipulating that little girl. And I was like, oh, I was so glad when it went off. It just had my nerves bad, and I just wanted to fuck him up because he literally, he's going to molest her. He's going to molest her. Chester done got her, honey, and I was just so bothered. Everything was acted so well because I really did want to rip his fucking head off. I really did. Okay, anyway, I'm getting all upset. So, anyway, I'm done with this for right now. We'll get back to this next week. Hopefully we won't go back into that scene. I had enough of that scene. But that's it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Y'all know how all that works. And I will talk to y'all next week. All right. Bye, guys.